And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and we are traveling from the US by plane to get to Europe, and then by train, we're going to Nederland. The Ticket to Ride Netherlands, or Nederland, is an expansion to Ticket to Ride that came out late in 2013. We're going to take a look, show you what the differences are, show you some of the components, show you how it's scoring, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All aboard! We're going to be going around the Netherlands, checking out some tulips. See you on the other side. So I'm only going to be showing you what is different from the normal version of USA versus the Netherlands version. So if you don't know how to play Ticket to Ride, you're going to want to watch a video of the original USA edition. What you get at the beginning of the game is 5 destination tickets, which you have to keep at least 3. Then later on in the game, if you want to take more, you have to take 4, and you have to keep at least 1. You also are getting 30 sort of bridge toll token value coins, total of 30 of these bridge tokens that you'll be using pretty much every time you move. And we'll show you how that works in just a moment. Interesting thing to note about these cards here is there's as little as 7 points and as big as 14. Let's take a closer look at these. One thing I love about these cards is they've always kind of shown you where they were on other versions of Ticket to Ride, but this one actually has the map of where the routes are, where all the routes are in the game, which really helps you, especially when you're dealing with cards of cities that you're not used to seeing and you're not familiar with the geography. Not just knowing which city is where, it actually shows you the route that you can get there, so it helps you find the city a lot easier. Now when you look at the map itself, you'll notice it's another elongated board. And you'll notice what you'll see here is a lot of double routes everywhere, because this game is huge on the double routes, because we'll show you how these bridge toll tokens work, but to make them really work well, there's lots of double routes on this map everywhere. And so that's sort of just a bird's eye view of what the map looks like. And notice the scoring is those nice little tulips there, and then we see Belgium down there. And that's sort of an overview of what the map looks like. Up here you can see the scoring chart, and I believe it's exactly the same as the USA. It goes from 1 to 6 trains and from 1 to 15 points, just like the normal Ticket to Ride. Other than the map, which is obviously different, you start with 40 trains as opposed to 45, so you take 5 trains out of the base set before you play this game. And you'll notice there's so many double routes because you can use a double route no matter how many players are playing. Even with 2, you play with double routes, 3 double routes, all the way through. And the reason being is you'll notice that every route has a bridge toll token amount. So we see 4s and 3s and 1s and 2s. So if I were to play normally, and let's say I threw down 4 pink cards, and I'm the red player, and I would put my trains down here like normal, I would score my points like normal, but then if I'm the first person on one of these double routes, I would pay 2 of my bridge toll tokens that I have. Remember, we start with 30. I would take those and I would pay them to the bank. Now later on, if someone used the other side of this route and they threw down 4 orange cards or anything that would allow them to get there with wilds, maybe whatever, let's say the blue player goes here, they have to pay 2 bridge tokens as well, but they pay them to the first person that was in that route. So they would take these 2 bridge tokens and pay them to the red player. So that makes the game very different because you're always trying to get the most important routes first. Now if I didn't have enough bridge toll tokens to do my move, I still complete the move, but I have to take one of these loan cards. I don't turn in any bridge toll tokens, and I get a loan card. I can never get rid of this. It's worth -5 at the end, and even worse, you cannot get an end game bonus. Speaking of bonuses, there is no longest train or most completed tickets bonus here in this game. It is all based upon who has the most bridge toll tokens at the end, which is why it's so important to use them judiciously and to have it as a part of your main strategy in this game. And bonuses range anywhere from 0 to 55 points in this game. Let's show you how that breaks down. Depending on the number of players that's playing, this is the breakdown of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of bridge tokens and how many they get. 2-player game, first is getting 35 and 0. On a 5-player game, it gets broken down that way. And so as you can see, there's huge swings in bonus points here at the end of the game. And just like normal games, if you don't complete a ticket, it's minus points, and if you get them, it's worth plus points. And there's one other variant here with 2 players. When playing with 2 players and you're playing with the bridge toll tokens, essentially after the 6th round of you guys moving, a 3rd player will begin to move, and after both live players have played, one of these destination tickets will get flipped over from the top of the pile, and if there are 2 cities on the bottom of the card here, you would then place the 3rd player's trains on there. If one of you already had a route on one of those double routes, that person would gain those bridge toll tokens. And so it's a way of basically having a third player sort of clog the board up and either be taking some routes or actually even helping you depending on it. And it actually works decently for 2 players. And since we have a little time, I'll just show you a little bit more about the map and some interesting things of quality. It's typical Days of Wonder quality. You'll see some red marks. Those are to delineate the different countries. So we have Belgium down here. We have Germany up in here. And so it's interesting to see how all this lays out. They have some little treasures in this map. For instance, we see a little stagecoach and a person riding a bike. And there's just a lot of little details that you can actually look at as you're looking through the map and see how things look. It's just it's Days of Wonder quality, what you would expect. I just wanted to show you a little bit more of the beauty of the map once you actually get a little closer. All right, well, there is the Ticket to Ride Nederland. Okay, so I have pretty much almost every expansion from the Ticket to Ride series now. I love Ticket to Ride itself. It's one of my favorite games. It's one of those ones that I can bring out to anybody who hasn't played board games, and it's never not gone well. Almost always they buy it. And these expansions are great because they typically just take a new map and maybe 1 or 2 new mechanics, and it feels like a new game again. And this one definitely feels very different. I've heard some people comment that, oh, they're lazy, Days of Wonder is lazy, and they just throw a new map out and change one thing and just call it good. But when you do that, you diminish the amount of brilliant design that goes from L&R Moon into these new maps. Because even though it's a different map, most of these maps feel very different, and this one's no different. Having everyone be able to use the double routes makes this game work the way it does because of those bridge toll tokens. And you play the game completely differently because in maybe the original one, you hoard cards maybe a little bit to drop a couple routes in a row to make sure you don't get blocked if you can. And in this game, it's like you have to go as soon as you got to, because you want to get to those routes, especially the ones you think other people are going to use early. So you see someone starting to build a route and you're going to use some of that anyways, you might as well try to tack one down where they're going so that they're going to have to pay you. So it really does change the whole way the game's played. So it feels very different from the original Ticket Ride, but yet staying the same, which is pretty much how all these expansions to me have felt. And I feel the same way of this as I do with all of them, which is I would never play this with someone who hasn't played Ticket to Ride before, but after they're comfortable with the game and how it works, I'll bring one of these out because it's new country, unfamiliar geography, it plays differently. Now I will say I did try the 2-player variant, and it's not bad. Actually, I usually don't like computer third players, but this wasn't bad. After the 6th round, these cards come out and trains will start to go. It's not bad. It actually does kind of feel like there's a third player a little bit. So it's not terrible. However, because of the routes and because of the bridge toll actions, I think this map actually works better with the more people. So the more the better, I think, with this map because it makes it so much interesting. I've also noticed that, man, doing these things with these bridge toll tokens is pretty much the whole game, in my opinion, because gosh, those bonuses are so huge, even in a 2-player game. Like one gets 35, one gets none. Like that's like a 70-point swing. Like one of the games, he got me by like 2 bridge toll tokens. And that's a 70-point swing by having 35 versus giving it to your opponent. And it's a huge swing. Even in the higher player counts, going from the 55 to the next level down, if that had swapped is such a huge swing that, wow, it is hugely important. Those bonuses really make or break the game, but you got to intelligently be able to have the most at the end. You never know how many people have, and that makes it interesting. So overall, I do like this. If I'm going to play it with 2, it's okay, but I'd probably rather play Switzerland with 2. It's my favorite map for 2. I can't say it's my favorite expansion map, but it is one that will give me a different feeling, gives me a new map, gives me a new thing. And I like that because eventually I'm going to get through all these expansions and I'm going to want to play even more different ones. So I like it. It's solid. It's not my favorite one, but if you like Ticket to Ride, it's kind of a no-brainer. You're going to get it anyway. And I'm keeping it, and I really like it. It's just not my favorite. Switzerland and India is probably my favorite, but this one's very good. It's probably, in my opinion, just behind Africa, but they're very close. Again, solid. It's good. If you like Ticket to Ride, no-brainer. Just get it. Nederland.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.